Hello there, everybody. This is Gideon with a little video here. It's been probably close to maybe 2 years since I've made a video blog or whatever. Um, but I just wanted to share something with you. I want to share my Vipassana 10-day silent retreat experience. I think it'll just be this video. It might be another one, but it will just be sort of a digest version. I think it's enough, and then if you want to talk about it further, more in depth, I'll be happy to share more. I think it's better that way because it's just something I would love to share, but it's also easier and better to share it. I think one-on-one. Yeah. So. I guess it started already in March. You sign up about 4 months before you register. And up until that point, I've actually read a book called The Way to Love, which is dealing with a lot of the same things that you go into the practice with the Vipassana. Vipassana actually means observe and accept the reality as it is. And the book The Way to Love is basically preparation for that, observing your attachments, your ideas, your beliefs, and so on. So up until the 12th of July, where the retreat started, I actually read that book over and over, a few 1 to 2 to 3 chapters every day, and that was sort of my preparation for the Vipassana retreat, which started the 12th of July. It was in Mont Soleil, which is right at the border of France, so in the west part of Switzerland. I was in Zurich at the time, and have had a sort of a small base there. And then I went to Mont Soleil, and initially you register, you sign up, or you announce your arrival and sign your, you agree to certain agreements when it comes to the way to dress, that you will not speak for those 10 days, that you will not touch, that you will not have sexual interactions, you will not look at somebody, you will not read or write anything, you will not carry any necklaces or anything that can distract you from why you are there, which is to really focus on yourself. So all of that is taken care of in that afternoon. Then there's some fruit and tea, and then there's an introductional meditation in the evening, and from that point on there is no talking. It's all silence. And to just give you an idea of what those days look like, there's a clock in the dining room, but there is no real time, so to speak. You move according to a timetable, which is important, but it is basically a gong. That is, whenever that sounds, that's when the next thing is happening. And that begins at 4 a.m. in the morning. That's the first gong. 4:20 is the second one, and then the first meditation of 2 hours starts at 4:30 until 6:30. Then you have an hour and a half break where there's breakfast and you can rest and take a shower or whatever until 8 o'clock. 8 to 9 there's a group meditation. The first one in the morning is you can do it in the main hall with everybody, or you could do it in your room meditating. So 8 to 9 there's a group meditation where you have to be with everybody. And then there's a short break, and from 9:15 or whatever until 11 there's another meditation where you have to stay in the main hall, and then you can go to your room after instructions, because you are learning learning this meditation. Then from 11 to 12 there's lunch. 12 to 1 there's an option for talking to the teacher who is there, and from I think it's 1 to 1:30, 1 to 2:30, I think, there is meditation either in the hall or in your room. Then there's another group meditation from 3:30 to 4:30. Then there's another one from 4:30, or after that small break, to 5 o'clock. Then there's fruit and tea. Then there's another group meditation from 6 to 7. Then there's a discourse from a bit past 7 until whenever that finishes, 8:15 or 8:30, which is basically the person who sort of made Vipassana, the retreat, these 10-day retreats, more available, I guess, or started an academy and made it sort of spread. He's sort of one of the main figures, and he basically talks you through a video about what you're going through, why you're doing it, why maybe certain things are happening, and what to be aware of, and so on. So you can kind of stay on course in terms of the intellectual part of it, the theory, and along with that, based on your experience, sort of get an idea of what is actually happening inside, what is happening with you, and so on. Then there's a last meditation, which is just half an hour, 40 minutes until 9 o'clock. Then you can ask questions to the teacher again, if you have any, and then that's bedtime. So that's the days, and you get into that very fast. It's very, of course, it's kind of odd in the beginning, not talking to anybody. You kind of look down all the time, and you kind of feel purposely antisocial and try to ignore everybody. But you also begin to understand why, because it's very easy to get distracted in this life. You first realize that when you do stuff that you haven't done before, like fasting, not talking, and so on. This will be a little bit shorter, a longer video than 10 minutes, I think. So stay with me. But the first 3 days is basically day 1, which is the first day is the day after the arrival day, and then there's 10 full days. So the first 3 days you basically focus on your breath, going in and out of your nose, and you basically focus the first day on the larger area of your nose, then you focus on a smaller part, this one, and then you focus on an even smaller part here. I'm not going to go into the teaching of it because I'm not basically allowed to, and I won't feel comfortable teaching it because I'm just not there. So we focused on those things the first 3 days, kind of gradually increasing the focus on a smaller part to sharpen our minds, basically, is why you do that. From day 4 and onwards, the fourth day is called Vipassana day. It's basically where you really go into the work. The first 3 days is kind of a warm-up. And you basically increase the focus of sensing the body and sensing everything gradually more and more, and better, and I guess better and better, but more and more consciously. But to give you a digest version of my experience, the first 3 days was tough in the sense of the physical aspect, because I've not been able to sit like that forever, ever. I've never been able to sit in a lotus position, which meant that I changed every 30 minutes or 20 minutes even, sitting in all kinds of positions. You were sitting on a little mat, and you could have pillows and blankets and whatever to support you. So it took some days for me to actually begin to feel what was comfortable for me. So the first 3 days was kind of tough physically, but I on the third day, I believe I still felt some progress in terms of more of a clearer mind. Something was definitely let go, but I was not aware of what was happening. It was definitely the physical phase. If you have read my blog or seen my blog posts about the 3 phases of the Camino, this is basically the same thing. The first days was the physical, the next part is the mental, and the one after that is more the heart or spiritual or depth part. So I kind of knew theoretically, yes, I'm in the physical aspect of this, but since after then I didn't really think about it because it was too hard, actually. So on the fourth day, I sat actually for the longest period I've ever sitten in a lotus position the first 2 hours that morning, but I actually broke down crying completely because it seemed like so much of the stuff that has been happening over the last 6 years, if you followed my journey, it's not been easy. I have not felt. I've been traveling. I've had some great times, some great experiences, and friends for a lifetime, and all that stuff. And when that's said and done, I have, underneath everything, not been suffering emotionally. I've not been feeling fully happy. Been emotionally attached to what happened with relationships and so on. And I broke down that morning because it just all came up. Came through me, and I just broke down crying in terms of have basically wasted, because I didn't waste, you can't waste anything, but it felt like a waste of time and energy. You spent so much effort and struggle with these experiences. So I just broke down crying out loud in this hall where everybody was sitting. Had a talk with the teacher that helped, but I was also very much in doubt about if this would actually work. And that was sort of my fear and my doubt, I guess, in the beginning. There's a bit of an animal here. So I had a talk with him that morning. The rest of the day was a little bit different in terms of timetable. In the afternoon, there was a longer meditation span. So I think we had 2 times 2 hours of straight meditation, where at least the second one I remember was one where we were not supposed to move at all. That was tough for me because that was on the morning. Yes, I sat, but I don't remember. I was still moving, I think. And in that second one, I forced myself not to move. But I was literally sitting in my seat, jumping. My body was just in agony, and I was torturing myself. Basically, it was so hard. It was excruciating pain throughout my body, and I didn't know how to sit. I tried to my arms. I couldn't control my arms at one point because it was just try to find a position where I could sit, and I couldn't sit. My body was just in extreme pain. So much, in fact, that the teacher who was sitting in the room came over behind me and whispered into my ear, "Relax." And I was, let me try, relax when everything was jittering and in immense pain. But in the last 10 minutes, I don't know, maybe it could have been 15, but it's definitely about maximum 15 minutes, but definitely at least 5 to 10. All of a sudden, my body relaxed more. All of a sudden, I was more calm, and that was sort of a key moment because I began to understand why I was there. Then I was in immense pain, but all of a sudden, my body relaxed more. It still hurt, still painful, but all of a sudden, I was not jittering as much. I was sort of came down a bit. And that moment sort of was a key because it was so tough. But it helped to establish a foundation where I could see, okay, it makes sense now. I can see that why I'm here. But that was a really tough first day of really Vipassana. That was when we went into more depth meditation of sensing our bodies and so on. Because the reason is that it's about being aware of your body, aware of yourself, because everything negative and positive that we go through in life sits in our bodies. And if we're not aware of that and not observing that, the body won't be able to feel free, feel healed, feel love, feel a lot of things. Basically ignorance. So you practice really being aware of yourself, your body, because you're aware. Even though the body is very subconscious, it's sensing everything, and you can sense everything. Every part of your body you can sense. So it's practicing that and waking that up to yourself, so you can see what has actually been stored there of negativity, or suppression, or attachments, or anything that can be related to anything that's negative or based on fear. Basically, fear. So that was a tough first Vipassana day, the fourth one there. I think I will start with that as a first video. Then I will go through. That was sort of a foundation point, and actually it makes sense to finish. And then I will come back with a second video to wrap up and to go into a lot of details that I went through. So enjoy, and thanks for listening.